Can we record my shoes?
Yeah, of course. I just do.
You want me to start?
Oh, wait. For who is the shoe?
The shoe. I like the way head Dutchmen say the shoe. The shoe. That's cool.
Well,
Okay, go on.
Hello, I'm Baxter Dury, and hello.
And you're the owner of the beautiful bowling shoes.
And the award. So then the Dutch and the English award.
Just for the people listening on the radio, which we have to explain that you just got a third place award from the bowling alley.
I got a third generation award that wasn't really awarded to me. But it took our attention, didn't it? And now I've sort of stolen it, but I was given it as well. And we don't know where it'll end up. It's quite an interesting thing. I think it's probably quite important. Symbiotic, I'd say. Let's see what happens.
It's a brilliant way to start off an interview, let's put it that way.
A confusing way to start.
Definitely the confusing way, sorry. Seeing that you obviously proudly use your last name, I am hoping that you won't mind me bringing up your father.
No, I don't mind it so much. I mean, it's what you call a subject that's exhausted quite a lot. So it's not because I'm disproud or anything, but there's a few films, books, and plays done. So I start to sort of drift off into the mystic. But apart from that, I'm very proud. No, I don't mind. It's me saying, yeah, you can do a little bit. Go on.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to have bored you in the beginning of our interview already.
Good start.
Yeah. Right. Maybe I could get a third runner-up award as well.
Possibly, not at the moment.
No, you're probably going to hang on to it for a little more. Yeah. I just wanted to mention it because so I could just sketch out.
It's a
Because you must have had like a really interesting youth, very musically, but also a bit unusual, right?
Yeah, I suspect so. It's quite hard to compare it always because your youth is, you're young and you don't know how to compare it to anyone else's. But it was interesting, definitely. It was exotic here and there. My mum was very normal. My dad was a little bit odd, and that's basically how to explain it. They lived on one side of the road, and so there's normal side and odd side, and so I've got both sides.
Ah, so you're the perfect mixture then.
My left side's a bit odder than my right side. Yeah, but I rely on my right side for proper decisions about stuff.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. I've also read that you had a babysitter that was an ex-roadie for Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he was. He was quite a colourful character. Yeah.
You must have had some crazy bedtime stories then.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's quite hard to defend. It's just the way you grow up. You don't really know the difference, do you? Like it's just someone in your life. It was quite sweet, really. It wasn't that crazy. No one's really that crazy.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, but surely now that you're older, you've met different people that maybe had a different lifestyle. You can see, well, maybe it was a bit odd, or maybe the stories that he, told me when I was young, kind of started, maybe, how do you say that, teasing your imagination or your creativity. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think everything teased your imagination, but I mean, more so, what's interesting is that you can be forced upon to meet lots of exotic people and lots of crazy, outgoing people, and they don't really always force your imagination. They kind of replace your imagination by people that have big imaginations, and it's usually the people from like little villages that are starved of exotic things that start to imagine great things. So sometimes it could be not an assistance, it could be a negative kind of influence somehow, and you have to sort of readdress that balance to make your world personal as well. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense.
It can be over rich in its influences. These people, so you have to step away a little bit. That's what I mean.
Is that what you do every now and then? Then step away and maybe go to an isolated place to.
Well, and when I say, I don't always exhaust the subject, it's because I don't try and I don't consciously think about it too much. I bet your life was all quite bonkers comparatively. I bet they were weirdly different, right? Where were you brought up?
Me, Nijverdal.
Never heard of it, but I bet it was pretty weird, right?
It's a small place, so yeah.
Way, Everything has its odd side, and that's brilliant, but sometimes it's especially if you're in music, you don't want to be kind of over-influenced by these big figures. You sort of have to step away from them a bit.
Right. So let's talk about your album for a bit, because your third album came out, Happy Soup.
Yeah.
And you describe it as seaside psychedelic. Now you have to elaborate on that because I have no idea what to think about.
It's kind of based on what you had in the 50s and 60s in England. You had these postcards, and they depicted a kind of comical vision of England on the beach, and there were kind of lots of rotund, meaning kind of slightly plump English people, awkward with the sun, and the sun doesn't shine a lot there, but when it did shine, and they would cover themselves up as much as possible. Anyway, there are these very awkward pictures. So if you think of English seaside, a scene of an English seaside, you'd think of these little postcards. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was kind of combining, the idea of kind of cool American soulful psychedelia with it being very English.
Okay, but now I'm left with more of an image than a sound.
Well, the sound and the image are the same thing for me. It's just a kind of English, you know, your kind of the way you look and the way you are and the way you talk and the way you kind of influences your sound. I try and basically, I'm really into really old school soul music from America, from the 60s and stuff, but I don't really sound anything like it. And that's where I'm from, and they're a kind of mutation of the two, somehow. That's what I was trying to say. It kind of made more sense in an English way, because they would immediately acknowledge what I was talking about.
I'm not sure if I have a clear idea of your music, but...
Well, it's very difficult to know without knowing those postcards or those pictures.
Well, like I said, I have an image, but it's just to get the sound with it.
Yeah. That's my idea of it. I mean, sound is sound, it escapes you really quickly. You kind of make music and it kind of gallops away. It becomes something completely different very quickly.
Yeah. So tonight you're performing in a bowling area. Yeah. How do you like that?
It seems fun so far. I just fell over trying to bowl. I went too far over you know, actually the bowling bit is really greasy, and I tried to cheat when I was looking and went I sort of violated the line and then smashed my head on the floor. And it was really dramatic, and I looked like a complete idiot. So I'm feeling a bit concussed. You know the word concussed?
Yes,
smash your head. Yeah. So that was a bit strange. But otherwise, it all feels very Dutch. Everyone's just really happy and Dutch, and I really like that.
Really happy and Dutch.
Yeah. There's something very, very Dutch about being kind of just okay, let's go for it. You know, they're just sort of up for stuff.
I said, okay, well, that's a good thing to hear. Yeah.
No, it's a brilliant thing. It's an absolutely brilliant thing. It's very uniquely Dutch.
Okay. Supposed to what are English people like in your opinion?
Well, I don't know how to. You can't always comment on your own place, but you can sort of crudely comment on other places you visit, because it's easier, isn't it? Like French, very French and Dutch. It's a really I'd say it's very positive. It's a very positive place to be mostly. There's a tiny similarity to the English, but a little bit more upbeat.
Really?
More happy, yeah. I'd say.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. So I always find that the English people have like a really good sense of humour that they always use a lot more than Dutch people. So.
Yeah, no, we might be kind of we use our humour to survive. You know, we use it to float upon in our sort of quite dangerous, depressing countries like it. So we use it as a survival mechanism, whereas you kind of use a kind of different character. It's a different characteristic completely. It's interesting.
Good to hear. Let's go back to Eurosonic, because that's the festival obviously that you're playing at. Are you familiar with the festival?
Well, I've become familiar with it over the last 2 weeks because people have been talking about it. I know it's kind of open arena for people to come and look at other bands and stuff, and it kind of feeds off to lots of other stuff, doesn't it? Like, there's a lot of industry going on there, isn't there? Hence why we're here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
have you seen any of the lineup?
I know a few bands here actually. We've come across a few bands on our trips. Like we were Evergreen and stuff. We played with them a few times.
Have you seen anything that you really want to see, that you're interested in?
I would like to see it all. I mean, the things I don't know I want to see more, because I just don't know what they're about yet, so that's more interesting.
That's fair enough. So, you go ahead, Bev. I'll ask a question. Yeah, you're drinking beer at the same time. It's a tough job. Did you... is there anything that you think is missing, or like some kind of band that we have to have on the lineup?
No, but I have to be here for a few more days to understand really what it's all about. Really, like I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I don't. We've been on a 9-hour bus trip from London, and I've arrived in a bowling alley. I've fallen over, smashed my head, drunk 4 beers, had some really shit pizza, seen some friends, and I don't really know where I am, to be quite honest. All I know is that tomorrow I'm meant to go to a soup factory to make some soup.
You're going to a
soup factory. The smallest organic soup factory in the world, and it's in Holland, and it's about 20 minutes from here.
Why? How did you end up?
I don't know, the promoter dude wants us to go make, because my album's called Happy Soup, so he made some sort of like connection. Went, do you want to make some happy soup? And they used to, you guys say soup. And I'm like, yeah, I want to make. And then I looked on the internet, like I looked up, and basically it's a dude, like an organic soup making dude, talking about how he makes the best soup in the world, and his soup creates world harmony. And I thought, fuck it, I'm going there.
It's not like you can say anything.
Yeah, and I thought this is the best thing in the world, so we're going to make soup.
I'm jealous now. That sounds really good.
Brilliant, you can come along.
I should actually.
Speak to the dude that's organising it. You know.
The dude.
It's
so funny that when you're voting, I got that early and you're like,
We've been talking about that a lot, so we just watched it.
Okay, so cool. Now, final question, because that's basically the one that I was trying to ask before. But is there any band that we don't know of? Because it's all about discovering new talent here.
Right.
That we should know of.
Like an English band or somebody I know.
For instance.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there are millions of bands I know, and I'm connected with a million bands. Whether you should know about them, I mean, I like things like John Coltrane. I wish John Coltrane was playing.
Yeah.
And then I get a bit confused by modern music. Rubbish.
You do? Why?
Yeah, I just go, oh, what are they doing? Why are they up so late? Why are we in a soup factory? I don't know, like, there's a band called, there's two guys from England called the Two Bears. Have you ever heard of them?
Never heard of them.
They're brilliant. One of them used to be in Hot Chip, a band called Hot Chip, and the other ones didn't used to be in Hot Chip. And they're really fun, and they wear bear uniforms.
Really? That's so brilliant.
And they make this amazing kind of, it's almost like dance music. And I'm not into dance music, but this stuff's brilliant. I think it'd probably be huge anyway. And they're huge and happy and brilliant. And they wear weird uniforms, but they always got a bear. They play in a beef or in really hot countries wearing these bear uniforms, and they nearly die every night they play because it's so hot. But they're the best band I've seen.
That's almost even better than Happy Soup, to be honest.
Much better. I'm gutted I didn't come up with the concept, really.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you should bring them on tour, maybe, as an opening act.
They're off on their own big thing, they're ambitious and they're big. And they're actually getting really bigged up in London at the moment, so they're away already.
Oh, that's a good tip. I'm going to look out for those guys.
Yeah, you'll love them. I reckon in Holland they'd be brilliant as well.
I bet they would. They would be really popular around here.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, well, I think all I have to say for me is have fun and have a great gig. And
I will do.
Yeah, don't be a stranger.
No, I don't know what time. Do you know what time we're playing? No one knows. So
somewhere between 2 and 4 in the middle of the night. So
what is it all this about? You tell me.
We're trying to ask you.
I don't fucking know where we are. Where are we? I've just fallen over in the bowling abbey. It's a bowling alley. That was quite religious. Do you know where we just played before? We went to Israel and played a gig in Israel.
Yeah.
That's why I keep on saying abbey. It's a religious thing. It was all really religious. So anyway, sorry.
Okay.
Brilliant. Anyway, well, nice to chat to you both.
Yeah, nice to chat to you too. I'm hoping that anyone will understand anything.
I don't understand it. Do you understand anything?
No, I don't. I think basically, just to answer your question, I think this is what it's all about. Just, I don't know, signing, how do you call these?
Yeah, I've got that, haven't I?
Yeah, you have to sign it. What do you call that?
I think that's skittle, isn't it?
It's
a skittle. Bowling skittle, isn't it? I don't know.
You're the Englishman, I don't know. Cool. Okay, sign.
Do you know what? I want this and not this.
Yeah, you're third prize.
Yeah. I want to keep this.